today at River City Yarns, and Barb is going to do a demo. What are you demoing?
How to sew squares together, actually sewing them together and crocheting them together. We're doing a Martin Story knit along, and there's many squares that all have to be put together, so we're just doing a little video on how to do that.
Right. It's a complicated question, how to get them all together. You spend all that time making squares, and now you gotta make an actual afghan out of them. Hey?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fabulous. Thanks, Barb.
Okay.
All right, so here's the table with all of the squares on it, and Barb, you're just getting set up. So what kind of equipment do you need to be able to put all these squares together?
Okay. Essentially just a crochet hook and a needle. I like to use one with a bit of a blunt end to it so that you can get through in between the strands of yarn as opposed to splitting them.
Mm-hmm.
So a blunt end one works pretty good.
Okay.
So what we're going to do today is we've actually joined some of these squares already, so that they're formed into panels. You can see there's 8 squares that are joined here at the top and bottom of each square, and we've got 2 panels that are completed already.
All right, and how were these ones joined?
These ones were done using the crochet method, and so you can see the back side. It's just beautiful. It's got a nice crocheted chain running right along the back side, each one, and I mean, they're beautiful. The back looks just as nice as the front.
Right.
And so that's the method that we're using, and we're going to use the same method on the sides as well, the crocheted method. I'm going to demonstrate that.
Action.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to grab a little bit of yarn. This is the yarn that we used to knit the project with. We're going to find the tail, and then what we're going to do is we're going to lay our squares right sides together. So what we're going to do is we're going to crochet along here, and then when we fold it up, these 2 pieces will be on our public side.
Great, okay.
All right, so we're just going to put them together like this. This one you can see is a little bit smaller than the one behind it. So as I'm working with it, I'm just going to gently kind of pull it. I could also put some markers in. Let's see if I have any in here. You could put some locking stitch markers in as well to help hold the fabric. I love these locking stitch markers. They're so nice. You can use them for so many things.
It's very smooth going in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now we're going to grab a new piece of yarn. This is again from one of the colors that's in the blanket. I'm really tempted to use these strands here to sew together with, because then I don't have to weave them in. But I found out that you only get about 2/3 of the way down before you run out of yarn. And so that's just another tail that I have to weave in later. So it just works out so much easier if we use a brand new strand.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so here we're going to begin. So now there's a couple different ways that you could do this. You could go through 2 strands of yarn on each side, picking up like that. Or you could pick up just the inside loops of each one, or you could pick up the outside of each one.
So you're going with the outside?
I'm going with the outside.
And do you have a reason for that?
Yeah, I'll show you in a few stitches. So just let me make a few chains. Okay, so I'm taking the outside to show you again of this one, and the outside of that one.
So it's kind of like the extreme left and right of the bind off or cast on edge.
Yeah. Okay, and once I have 2 loops on my hook, I'm just going to come back and pull one through the other. Whoops. and that's a chain. Okay, so here's the next one. Outer loop on that side, outer loop on that side, come around and through. Okay. So you can see how the chain's starting to form. On the side of the work, and then when you flip it over, you have to take our pins out to see. When you flip it over, it's got a really nice edge. So it shows the kind of edge of both of these squares.
Right.
And they also butt up against each other really, really nice.
Yeah, it looks, that's exactly what it looks like they're just sitting there on the table.
Like they're just sitting there on the table, yeah.
So Barbie, we were talking a little bit about tension and when you're crocheting not to be too tight. Can you kind of show us or talk to us about tension when you're crocheting?
Yeah. Essentially, when you bring your yarn through the loop, you want to have the loops on your needle quite loose. Whoops. Okay, so when you're crocheting, you want to crochet and bring that loop through and have this first one on your needle quite loose. So when you make it, I like to make it a little bit bigger, and that way it's twofold. It's really easy to get into, to get the hook into it. And then the other thing is it creates a nice stretch along the seam, so you've got lots of movement there.
The cast on and bind off portions together.
Sure. Okay, here's an interesting spot. See, I'm coming to the end now, and this side's a little shorter than this one.
Right.
So right here, I'm going to skip a spot.
Skip a stitch?
Yeah. I could go on here, but I'm going to go in here just to ease out that tension a little bit. Okay, there we go.
So question people often ask, Barb, is how do you know when you're in the last, like where's the last stitch?
Yeah, and sometimes that's really hard to determine. You know, you're just going to try and go to where, you know, you see the end. And if there's a hole or something, you can catch that up when you join your other panels in with this.
Okay.
Good. So
Good.
there it is. And let's see what it looks like on the other side. There's the other side.
That's beautiful.
It looks pretty good, don't you think?
I do.
Yeah.
Those colors look really nice together
Don't
too.
they? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful piece.
It's gorgeous.
Okay, so now I'm just going to show you how to deal with the ends. So you've got quite a few ends here, and there's a couple of different ways you can deal with them. First, you can put your end through a tapestry needle like this and just weave the end in. So I like to weave it in somewhere where it's the same color. So in this case, I'll probably go right here. And I'm just going to, with my needle, just kind of weave in and out of the edge here. If I can't get in, and move on to the next space where I can. Okay. And then pull it through. And stretch it back so that it's not puckering, and then just snip it off. That's that. So that end is all nice and neat.
Okay.
Over here we've got some different colors. Here's a blue one. And I'm just going to show you a slightly different method for weaving in as well using a crochet hook. So here I've got my crochet hook, and I'm going to start back about an inch, and I'm going to pick up some blue loops with my crochet hook. And here I'm just picking up kind of every second loop or so, trying not to split it, but go right into a strand, right around a strand of yarn. I should probably have just a smaller crochet hook, but that's okay. So now what we do is we're going to take the end and we're going to make a loop about halfway down, put the loop on the hook, hold tension on it, then turn the hook upside down and wiggle it back out through those loops. Okay, now I'm going to pull it through, and because it's double, it's in there twice, it's not going to come out. And I'm going to pull this back until I've got just a little loop there. And I'm going to leave it right like this. So this little loop is just going to sit there on the fabric. It's nice and small. A loop kind of stays put, and as opposed to a tail that sometimes, you know, stands up in the air. It's almost like it waves at you and says hello. But this little loop just kind of stays there, and it's a nice, I think, clean way to finish off your afghan. And now I'm just going to snip this one short, and there, that's woven in quite nicely.
Can you show us the other side of the fabric?
Sure.
So, no distortion on the other side of the
No,
fabric.
can't really see anything going on at all.
That's great.
Okay, so now we're going to try and seam together using the crochet method the sides of the squares as well.
Okay.
So here, you know, we've kind of got two different edges here. They're not as clean as these ones that we just finished doing.
Right.
So we're just going to experiment a little bit and see how these go together. So what we're going to do is put the two right sides together. And Pat's done such a great job of blocking these that they're pretty close to the same size. So we're just going to start here at the edge, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pick up the little loop on the outside as opposed to over here on the inside.
Right.
And I'm going to look for one on this side.
Does it matter what color of yarn you use when you do this?
Well, ideally, you want to use maybe one of the same shades in the square that you're using.
Right. But you got 4 different shades in this particular
Right.
combo,
So I'm going to use the one that's closest to this color here.
Okay.
Okay, so again, we're just going to use a chain slip stitch. Come through and then come through the one on my hook. Yeah. And I'm not even worrying about, which one. I'm just trying to pick up whichever one is sort of easiest to get into.
Right. Oh, that looks pretty nice.
Not bad, huh?
Not bad at all.
So if we just pull on that tail and snug it up a little bit, I think that's going to be pretty.